Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we're going to talk about the Red Select Stone, which you just saw me get from my gift box. The Red Select Stone is a stone that's given out at big major celebrations. For this celebration, the 10th anniversary, they're giving it out to us nice and early. You will receive it upon logging in today, but you have up until the 6th of March to collect it. So you can log in anytime between now and the 6th of March. And you should be able to, how can I say, collect the stone. It shouldn't really be anything too difficult to obtain. So you get it from your gift box. You can claim it up until the 6th of March. And at that point, you can obviously exchange it at the Bubba shop. There's nothing else you have to do. You'll get 3 of them. And the really cool thing is they have added a bunch of LR characters to the Dragonstone Select. I'm going to now talk about which characters I think you should pick, but I want you to bear in mind that you should, and this is my disclaimer before I go into the rest of the video, you should not, and I repeat should not, use these straight away. Unless you are a new character, a new player, or someone who desperately needs a singular character to start a new team or something, I honestly would say refrain from using these until we have more information on which units are Extreme Z Awakening, which units are Super Extreme Z Awakening, and maybe even a bit more information about what other teams are getting certain buffs. Because there's a lot of characters here that could potentially undergo a Super Easy A. There are some characters who could also undergo an Easy A. So the thing is, to pull the trigger on the summons is, for me, considerably dangerous using your stones now. So what my suggestion would be is refrain generally from using your stones, or at least leave 1 to cover yourself should there be any further announcements. With that being said, the LRs being added in is incredibly hype, and I completely understand if people base their selections on hype more than basing their selections on the concept of the unit that's strictly speaking the best for me to choose. And that's more than fine. These are free stones. Use them however you as a player want. But I'm going to talk through what we've got. So for me, the LRs at the bottom, and we're going to start bottom up, are all okay but skippable. Firstly, you have to obviously easy A all of them for them to be decent. The Rose and Zamasu is not bad, but I think personally speaking, a lot of them are just not really big players. The Tech Broly, for me, is probably the first unit we see from the bottom up that has a real impact right now. Yes, his damage is a bit conditional because he needs to be facing a unit with attack down, etc, etc, but he can do insane damage. We're talking, hundreds of millions of damage. The Broly G-Line Lemma also are a great utility unit to have, so I do like to suggest people potentially taking them, as they do have a lot of great utility that they can provide a team. The first Super Easy A current that I would suggest picking up is the Strength Broly, due to his amazing support functions. He really can just be a really good support for movie bosses, planetary destruction. Now, the Super Easy A's are where you need to be careful, and are definitely one of the major reasons I say holding back a stone is important. There could be a lot of Super Easy A's, maybe 2 or 3, and I think Super Gogeta, Cell, these units could potentially be units that will Easy A. So we have to play it very safe. However, a lot of the Super Easy A's are also great choices. Kid Buu, for example, is a fantastic support unit. Margin Power is in a great position right now, so picking him is not bad, especially since he's a great support for other content as well, like nuking challenges. The Int Ultimate Gohan is also a great Super Easy A choice, and so is Tech SS3 Gotenks. Not only is Margin Buu Saga in a great position right now, which both of those characters are huge benefits of, but obviously we just saw that we have an announcement of a new Super Vegito unit, so having a great support like Ultimate Gohan is not a bad pickup. Frieza is also really, really good, but Wicked Bloodlines and the teams he's on aren't in the best space right now. Planetary Destruction is probably his best, but I would say hold up on Frieza more than likely. And if you are looking for someone for movie bosses or planetary destruction, rather go with the Beerus, who is a little bit more flexible, can be used on multiple teams, and just is a better unit, I feel, overall. I already mentioned and spoke about SS3 Go tanks, but it is super important to be careful with using all your stones straight away. Honestly, it's not a huge incentive to use them straight away. It can be so tempting, but rather hold on to those stones. I promise you'll see so much more benefit holding on to them than using them immediately. We can then skip a lot of these units, and it's not because I don't think that they're great. It's just that for me, they're not necessarily pickups that are going to help anyone, even really new players who can just pick up shinier, better units. The 3rd year anniversary LRs are unlikely to get a super easy A, just due to the spacing of the categories and the buffs for the celebration, but also it's just very unlikely that we see more LR super easy A's so soon in the celebration. It could potentially happen, so that's why I say play it safe, but I doubt you will see that. And the same logic goes for the 4th year anniversary units as well, who I think are great, but are unlikely to get a super easy A this celebration. Both the 4th year and 3rd year LRs are really cool. The 4th year LRs are actually units that I still kind of like due to their counter mechanics, but they have obviously aged, them and the 3rd year anniversary units, even with their easy A's, and GT doesn't look like it's getting a lot of buffs. So at this point in time, I would probably refrain from pulling on either of those units, like sets of units, and rather keep your stones for something else. But you never know. Like I said, this is a big celebration with lots of new easy A's and units coming. So to measure exactly what will happen until the very end of the celebration is almost impossible. AGL Zamasu is still pretty good. He also is a good pickup in general, him and Trunks, as starting characters, but mainly I'm going to highlight Zamasu due to his Realm of the Gods lead and his Extreme Class lead. Then we come to another set of LRs. We have the Gobros Kamehameha. Definitely a unit I would probably avoid. They have a great leader skill with Goku's family and siblings bond, so if you're a new player, definitely consider picking them up, like if you're brand new, if you started recently, because that leader skill can carry you a very long way. But aside from that, I would refrain from picking them. Cell, definitely don't pick just yet. We have to see what's coming for Android Cell Saga, what is going to happen there. Gohan, same thing as Cell, but the difference with Gohan is his lead, Kamehameha, is very, very good. So again, if you're a new player, like brand new, using one stone to pick up Gohan, who is a great lead, is not a bad call, because Kamehameha is such a big category. Now here you get to a section where there's a lot of really cool DFEs. I mentioned Zamasu, but there's Future Gohan, Strength Cooler, Android 13. There's quite a few really cool DFEs that have good leader skills and also have good easy A's. They're not prime time easy A's, but they're still pretty good. I would refrain from picking those units because for me, the two most recent DFE or the DFE easy A's for this Angel Goku and the SS2 Vegeta are probably way better choices than those other characters. Even though those characters are better leads, the only one that's interesting is Cooler, but he probably isn't enough at its level that he's at to really work in whatever meta comes out. So for me, SS2, Vegeta and Goku are definitely two top picks due to the strength of their leader skill for new players and the fact that their easy A's are actually incredibly strong right now, but they are quite difficult. And then obviously we talk about the 5th year anniversary LRs. Definitely maybe not the best units here between the super easy A's and SS2 Vegeta and Goku, but they are definitely probably the most hype. Their animations are still very good, and they still can do a lot with their leader skills and their damage and output after their easy A's. So it's not to say that they're bad at all. I'd be interested to see what happens with their teams, but for me they are still pretty decent in content, and like I said, they are definitely the most hyped characters without a doubt. If you pick them, I can't even blame you. And as a new player, I also can't blame you, because their leader skills are still very good. They'll still be relevant for the characters in the celebration. And I think overall, for me, they do represent some incredibly awesome moments. So that's my thoughts on who you should pick with the Redstones. Like I said, be safe rather than sorry. Hold on to it a little bit, at least until we have the part 2 information about easy A's, super easy A's. And then once you have that, you can make a bit more of a educated guess. I'm basing a lot of my opinions on what units are like now with what's currently out, and based on obviously the fact that we know what the part 1 LRs are, so we kind of had an idea of what teams are getting buffed. But more information will come to light, and I think it's just best to play it safe with your choices. Like I said, if you're a new player, SS2 Vegeta or Gohan or the 5th year anniversary alliance will be fine for you, because they have good leader skills and they are good characters. Bye.